Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. And today is a dark day in history, a very dark day. It's the day that I call the B word. That's right, the B word. And it has a lot to say about what we need to know about being clear about our life, business, and service. And so we're going to talk about that in this Holy Week time on What It Takes Radio. And welcome to What It Takes Radio, and thank you, Rob Casper, who sits behind the booth there, and he makes it all happen. I can talk, but when it comes to the technical part of life, he's the man. Thank you, Rob. Yes, today is a dark day, and it is the day of the B word. Now, a little bit of a summary of the history, and some of you know this. For some of you, it might be a little bit new. The Easter celebration, which is fundamental to the worldwide Christian tradition, usually begins on the Sunday before Easter, the Palm Sunday, when supposedly the story relates that Jesus came into and was welcomed by a cheering throng. However, things went bad soon, quickly. And then there was Thursday, and then there was Friday, and then there was Sunday. Well, this is Thursday, and time for a little clarity about what this day means, because it really is an interesting day to celebrate because it's a very, very dark day. It is oftentimes called Maundy Thursday, and there's a whole story behind that description, and you're welcome to check that out, but it isn't relevant to what we want to be talking about right now. I got a bit of your attention with the expression, the B word. Now, right away, I know some of you are thinking the worst, and I'm not thinking that B word at all. What I am not thinking about is another B word, which is not nearly as bad, but it's not helpful. Oftentimes, I simply have to help many men and women who are really quite talented in their life and business when they're trying to promote or pitch or make their mark. I just simply have to say is, you know what? What you say is good. What you say is important. What you say is right. But you're boring. That's right, you're boring. And you know, in today's media world, particularly in the modern media world, you can't be boring. You can be right, and you can be very, very right, and you can tell wisdom, insight, and truth. But if you're boring today, very, very few people will listen. So that is another B word. But here's the B word that means the most. This is the day in which Jesus was betrayed. The B word. He was betrayed. It turns out that one of his friends and faithful followers, somebody who he trusted, turned on him. Supposedly things didn't obviously go his way. We don't know quite why. It's perhaps because he thought that what Jesus was really all about, and obviously the people who welcomed him on Sunday thought that, at least many of them did. Hey, this is revolution time. We're going to be saved from those nasty Romans. And so they thought, as most people think, that if you can just get the political solution down, if you can just get the politics right, that will make it work. And so we are obsessed with political solutions. We are obsessed with politics. And I want you to think about this. I oftentimes say, don't give in to the political illusion. And a mentor taught me that. His name is Jacques Ellul. You may or may not have heard of him. Probably not. But what he pointed out was that, in effect, long term, politics really never solves things. And I just want us to keep that in mind. A little bit of clarity. Does that mean we're not involved in politics? We're not involved in policy making? We don't do, quote, the battle of ideas and policies and actions and vote? I'm not saying that. I'm simply saying is, be wise enough to understand that most things of importance do not get solved by the political solutions. Just doesn't happen. And so he probably thought that. And when he discovers that that's not the deal, what is he going to do? Well, it turns out that he makes a deal with Jesus' opponents, and for a price, he agrees to point Jesus out in the evening of that Thursday when he is with his friends, and they have it all arranged that he's going to be arrested, and if they get it done right, they can have him arrested, they can have him tried, and they can have him dead, or something very close to that very soon, because they've got to stop this guy, because they think he's dangerous. And so Judas betrayed Jesus, and on this Thursday before Easter, we understand that that was the B word. It's a day of betrayal. Think about that. Good friend betrayed. Now, the reason I want you to think about this is one of my mentors has helped me to see this. He said, please understand that whatever else you see in the story of Jesus, please remember that it's also a little bit of a pattern of the lives that oftentimes we are called to live. We might not have had a miraculous birth, but we have to believe that our birth is special. Certainly to someone, certainly to God. All right, we grow up. We try and find a vocation. We try and find a calling. And we do the best we can. Then we hit adversity, and we will. Please keep in mind the human being is made for adversity. That's how we grow. That's how we go. Adversity is part of the plan. Life will be difficult. And in the case of Jesus, he was betrayed. And we believe that in that betrayal, death followed, crucifixion, death, hitting the bottom, but that there was resurrection. May I pause for a moment and just say, think about those stages, possible stages in our own life. Things are going pretty well. We're pretty popular. We've been very successful. And then something bad happens, or even worse, somebody betrayed us. Now, when I have shared this story with many people in life and business, I can almost see them shake their heads. Yeah, because you know what? Most of us have a story of betrayal somewhere in our past. And it's very painful. It's very hurtful. It's really hard. And how do you get over betrayal? Well, I just want you to think about that. Right now, I guarantee you, some of you are thinking of exactly that person at that time and that moment when you were betrayed. You don't know why for sure, but they betrayed you, and it cost you deeply and dearly. I think of something that happened just significantly within the last couple of years to me, and the only word I can use is betrayal. Now, what do I do with that? And that becomes the question. That becomes the question of our success. How do we handle adversity? How do we handle the difficulties of life? And how do we deal? On this Thursday, we remember it's a day of betrayal. And all of us will come to that sometime in our life. And what I want you to think about and be prepared for, and don't be surprised when it happens, the moment of betrayal. What's it going to take? What kind of spiritual, moral, ethical, mental, physical, emotional things do we have in our portfolio of skills and understandings and faith that we can truly deal with betrayal? Yep, that's the B word, and it's going to happen at some time in our life to all of us. And so let's be prepared to know just what it takes to perhaps live through survive, and even thrive after betrayal. Well, once again, thank you, and thank you for Rob for your bringing it up just perfectly. We're at 10 minutes. 10 minutes of clarity on What It Takes Radio. I'm Stan Houston, wishing you all the best and blessings, and perhaps we'll see you again, or at least we'll see each other in our imagination as we hear one another on What It Takes Radio, Friday and through the weekend. And for those of you who celebrate the time of Passover, and for those of you who join me in the celebration of this week in Easter, may it be one that brings us great joy and understanding about what it takes to live well in our world today. Bye for now.